Interested in building a 40 by 80 wide span tubular structure out here in Texas?
In this video, we'll tell you how.
So that total project cost with everything I just mentioned is $117,033 with 50 cents. Welcome back, Pack. It's Eric and Ernesto here at WolfSteel Buildings. And not only are we going to break down the pricing on this 40 by 80 wide span tubular structure out there in Weatherford, Texas, but I am going to give Ernie my congratulations on his first year here at WolfSteel Buildings. And not only that, Pack, Ernesto is stepping into the role of sales director here at WolfSteel Buildings. Congrats, man.
Thank you so much. Nah, first and foremost, thank you for the opportunity. Glad to be back on the channel. Definitely thank you to WolfSteel. Like I said, it's been a phenomenal year. Looking forward to what's to come, stepping into this role and just making it happen.
Yeah, and not only that, Ernesto, I think it is important that you step into that role. Ernesto has been showing lots and lots of leadership here at WolfSteel Buildings. And one of the key factors of having him as a sales director is that as a growing company, as much as we're growing, right, Ernesto, it is important to have someone oversee all of the sales, not let anything slip through the cracks. Putting you on the spot here, buddy.
No, definitely looking forward to the challenge. Like I said, for sure, with the growing company comes growing pains. But like I said, I am looking forward to stepping into this role, helping the sales team. Therefore, we can help our customers by default, right? So that's something to look forward to. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Again, he will be helping all the sales team members. Again, that's the Dream Team, the Alpha Wolves, the Shadow Wolves, the Quote Busters, our two newest Pack sales team members, which is the Texas Lobos and
the Elite Wolves.
So hopefully all these guys are on screen right now. Their information will be on screen. Give them a call. They'll be more than glad to help you out on your new endeavor. But before we move along with this pricing tour, let's not forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell to stay updated on our WolfSteel Buildings. So let's get this pricing tour started. All right, Pack, before we move along with the whole pricing tour, we're gonna give you guys the full total project cost of this 40 by 80 wide span out there in Weatherford. So this was a full turnkey project. We did the site prep, we did the concrete foundation, we did the erection of the building and the accessories as well, which are gutters, downspouts, and the overhead doors. So that total project cost with everything I just mentioned is $117,033 with 50 cents. Now that includes delivery, materials, labor, and sales tax.
Yes, correct.
But before we move along and talk about the dimensions of the building, let's go back in time and see how that process was with Ernesto. He actually sold this project, by the way. And this is a very special sale because of many reasons, right, Ernesto?
Yes, definitely going backtracking back in time. This customer actually was relocating to the state of Texas all the way from the state of Hawaii.
Aloha.
So definitely big different time zones there.
Yeah.
So we made it happen, right? We always coordinated times. There was a point the day I found out that he was actually in Hawaii was whenever he had messaged me, I believe it was like 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. I would just happen to see my messages come in. And then I had said, I was like, oh, I'm out of the office, but
how can I help you?
yeah, I was like, yeah, how can I help you? And then he's like, hey, but I just got off work. And I was like, well, where are you? He's like, well, I'm in Hawaii. He's like, I'm open to a call, even if you're sitting down drinking a beer. I wasn't, by the way, but right. No, but yeah, if anything, I said, you know what, man? Yeah, let's do it. If you just got off work, you're open to a call, I'm open to it.
Yeah.
So definitely, gave him a call. We talked about the building. Honestly, just talked about his wants, needs, what needed to be done.
Yeah.
Right. We definitely came up with the concept, started working from there, and then the rest.
And his profession, he is a mechanic, right?
Yes. So he was like high performance vehicles, right? He did all the racing, all this.
So he was looking for a building where he could work on, have enough space for storage, and work on his cars as well.
Yeah. So we were in between a couple different sizes, right? You always get that constant 30 wides versus 40 wides, so you do see that difference a lot. Now that's wherever he said, let's make the adjustment. I believe 40 wide is the way to go, just based off of the use, the layout. He was planning on putting a couple lifts in this, so that is something that we'll definitely get into.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later, but let's focus a little bit on that site visit. How did that go?
So the site visit was phenomenal and crucial, because the thing was, him being in Hawaii, right? He saw the layout of his property as
not in Oklahoma, Louisiana, New Mexico.
It wasn't something
Hawaii.
that he could take a boat ride and then a drive to Texas to check it out. No, if anything, this customer saw the aerial view of his property and then kept sending me like sketches of where the layout of the building wanted to be. Turned out, the day that he came here to actually sign for his home is the day that we did the site visit. So that was the first time that he actually saw the site, and we kind of noticed that where he wanted the building, it was going to be approximately, I believe, like 4 feet off level.
That's a lot.
That
makes a big difference, right?
Huge. I don't know where the saying came from, but dirt ain't dirt cheap.
Dirt ain't cheap.
So the benefit of the site visit is that the head of site coordinating here, Blanca, she went out there, she measured. I had the luxury of going out there, not only meeting the customer for the first time, shaking his hand, but we went out there, we shot those levels, and being on site, boots on the ground, giving customer advice, we saw that there was another area not far from the home, but it was elevated a little bit more to a point where instead of being about 4 feet off level, he was about, 18?
It's about 18 inches, 18 to 20 inches, yeah.
18 to 20 inches off level versus 4 feet. So that adds up to, quite a bit, meaning dirt, concrete, everything, a little bit adds to a lot. So we were able to save a little cost there.
And hopefully on screen you're watching the aerial shots on where he originally wanted the location of his building, and how Blanca, our site manager, explains the reason. I think where he wanted it, obviously with that 4 feet off levelness, you can actually see it slope down. Mm-hmm. Even though on the new location where we decided to put the building, it's just a little bit off level, it's just about 18 inches, no big deal. We can still make it work. We also brought in dirt as well to make up for those 18 inches. So having said that, regarding the site visits and the orientation location of your building, it's a major key factor, right, Ernesto, on having these visits, right?
Yeah, like I said, it's super important not only to execute the levels of your property, but also come up with a little bit of options, right? But definitely one thing is redirecting water. Biggest enemy to any construction is water. Whether it's wood, whether it's steel, you want to get that water away from the building, right?
What's your saying?
That's the key.
Steel rots.
So wood rots, steel rusts. Wood rots, steel rust.
There you go.
So that's, like I said, big key points to site visits is finding out how to redirect water. Not only that, but making sure the project is level by solving for the amount of dirt that's needed, and then making sure that it's executed properly.
Yeah, awesome. All right, Pac, I hope you enjoyed that little chit chat Ernesto and I just had regarding the site visits and how important it is, that could determine the orientation and location and how much dirt we need to bring in to make this happen. But let's start talking about the building, Ernesto. It is a 40 by 80. It is a wide span. We have Quaker gray on the walls. Mm-hmm. We have black roof, a black trim, and black downspouts and gutters, as well for the overhead doors, which are 10 by 10. These are insulated with an R value of 6.8. But let's talk a little bit about the size of this building, why he needed this building, your client from Hawaii.
Yeah, so like I said, the commonality in this side of the industry, which is tubular, you hear a lot of 30 wides and then 30 plus, meaning anything over 30, 31 and above. Right? So 30 wides, typically standard buildings, but the moment that that's surpassed, you're talking about a completely different project. right? What you'll see here, because like I said, I know my marketing team's really good about putting those visuals out there. So you'll see this is considered a web truss leg, kind of like a commercial grade style truss, right? So you'll see that zigzag pattern leg. Now that's a lot different compared to what you see standardized with a 30 wide, which is typically, a single truss, double welded truss. This is, definitely a lot different.
And that's where you see that price difference as well, right?
Yes, yeah, huge jump there, but all the well worth it just to make sure that the building is stable, right? So with this being a 40 wide, like I said, he decided to go that route just because of the internal use space, right? Like I said, he does a lot of mechanic work. So like I said, he was thinking about putting a couple lifts in there. So not only, will he have, cars up in the air, but he's looking to also use and leverage that exterior space. That's why we went out 80 long as well.
Now, this is a 12-foot leg height, right?
Correct. So huge difference there, right? It's, if you're looking at it from the outside, I'd say more than anything, from the ground to the edge of the roof line, which is the eave, you're actually seeing a little bit taller than a 12-foot height because the actual roof truss sits on top of the 12-foot leg. So it gives you a little bit more clearance actually on the inside.
Yes.
I believe it's about a 1.4 foot. Don't quote me on that. I'm sure my team will put some pictures out there.
Yes, marketing, please help me out. We have 12 foot on leg height for sure.
Yes.
I believe it's 13'3" or 13'6" on eave height, just to accommodate the trussing, the commercial web trussing. And also, speaking about trussing, we do have diagonal bracing on the legs as well, right?
Correct. So you have the corner bracings, you have center bracings with the building that is specific to tubular. Really doesn't matter the size of the buildings, right? Whether they're 30s, whether they're 12s, whether they're over 30s, right? You have those corner bracings and center bracings that are specific to tubulars just to make sure the reinforcement is there.
Yeah, and also about talking about reinforcement, we do have all of our 4 10x10 overhead doors on the side walls, correct?
Yeah, so you got 3 on one side and 1 on the other. The other was really just for that cross ventilation. Whenever you have them open, you definitely get that breeze. But yes, he had 3 on one and then 1 on the other.
Yeah, and something you want to mention is when you do have those accessories on the side walls, what do we add, Ernesto?
So we do add a header. It's known as a header. So for example, there's a big difference between putting a door on an end wall versus a side wall, right?
Yeah.
Because typically all these structures, the strength is built on the sides. So the moment that you cut into legs, you have to reinforce that strength. That's what's known as the header. So what you'll see, especially considering we cut 3 10-foot sections out of this building, we definitely put a solid reinforcement across those doors.
Yeah, on the right-hand side of the building, he does have those 3 10x10s on that side. I did go out there when I did the final tour. Roughly, he does have 60 feet of headers on the right-hand side. Again, it's 80 long, 60 feet of that is nothing but diagonal bracing header, which is very cool. It looks awesome. Hopefully you're watching all these cool drone shots on screen and you can actually see where we eliminated some of those uprights. So everything that we just mentioned, Ernesto, which is the 40x80, the wide span, the commercial trussing, the leg bracing as well, it has diagonal bracing as well. We do have a standard roof pitch, which is 312. We do have upgraded vertical panels, 29 gauge, and then also we do have an upgraded on our gauge on our framing, which is the 12 gauge.
Correct. Yeah, so definitely you have the option between 14 gauge and 12 gauge. I'd say the biggest difference between the two is that rust through warranty, right? Yeah. 14 gauge has a typical 5-year, and then that 12 gauge ups it quite a bit to 20 years. So huge difference there.
Do you guys see why he's the sales director? Y'all see why? I see why. Good job, man. Congrats again, man. Congrats again.
Thank you.
Is my nose a little bit brown? But yes, hopefully all that information that Ernesto is bringing you guys at home, it's very valuable. I hope you guys are learning a little bit more on how cost affects on upgrades, on going wider versus longer. You could have the same square footage, right, Ernesto? You could have a 40x40 and a, let's say, 30x50, and it'll definitely, with the same accessories, same leg height, same standard roof pitch, and you'll see a significant price difference, right?
Yeah, what I always tell my customers is widths are a lot more expensive than lengths, right? because if anything, whenever you go wider, all you're doing there is having to reinforce, considering these are clear span.
Yeah.
But whenever you have a more narrow building, you're really just tacking on more of the same style building. So therefore you do save a ton on cost. Definitely, like I said, ask your sales team any questions that you might have in regards to that. If they give you problems, just let them know that I said that in this video. And then I got your back.
Awesome. So everything that we just mentioned, Ernesto, what's the building cost?
So yeah, so the building, the accessories, this is with a 1 steel walk-in door and then those 4 overhead doors. The building cost did come out to the $75,593 with 50 cents.
Something that I did forget to mention about those overhead doors is that they have the follow the roof line track system. Correct, right?
Yeah, super crucial with that. So for example, anytime that you have a door on the sidewall, right, you have options. Like I said, especially with a 10-foot door and a 12-foot leg, you can have it to a point where, like I said, those overhead doors, they do have that standard track that you have that rod that attaches straight to the roof, right? But like I said, this customer is getting lifts. So you want as much overhead clearance as much as you can. So what we did is that we have a door track that will follow that roof line, considering it's on the sidewall. So it'll continue up the wall and then start to curve towards
the peak.
Exactly.
Yeah, so again, that price was $55,963 with 50 cents. That is building cost. That includes material, labor, delivery, and sales tax.
Correct. And then whenever you do tack on those overhead doors, that's where you get the $75,593 with 50 cents.
Yes.
And that's what's important too, Eric, because in the tubular industry, commonalities that you see are roll-up doors, which, like I said, definitely nothing wrong with them. Biggest difference there is just manual versus automatic, non-insulated versus the potential of getting insulated overhead doors. This customer, for the use of the building, right, being a mechanic shop, him pulling cars in and out constantly, he decided to say, you know what, I want push of a button, my door's open, I don't have to worry about it too much. So that's where, you know, it could be a little bit different, that you can inquire about the difference between roll-ups and overhead doors.
Awesome. Well said. I want to buy a building from Ernesto now, I don't know why. All right, we covered the total project cost. We just talked about the building costs with accessories. Let's transition into the concrete, because this is a very on point job that we did, because to fit his specific needs of his profession, right, Ernesto?
Yeah. So like I said, concrete here, him putting in, going back to lifts, right? Car lifts. Yeah. This is a common question that we always do get asked. So typically you'll see having to reinforce maybe the entire slab. We don't see that as a necessity. We do want to save on costs where we can, right? And the biggest point of any lift is just those main contact points of where the actual lift posts will be. Yeah. So for example, the moment that we know that a car lift is taken into place, we definitely want the make and model of the lift.
Yes.
Right? Because what we do is we do a little bit of research as far as the weight,
build it to spec, right?
The load, exactly. Because for example, here on our floor plans, and I'm sure my marketing team can pull up a picture of the floor plan there, but we identify...
No, I'll do you one better. I'll show you the aerial shot of those concrete squares.
Bingo. Perfect. See, always got my back. So once we identify exactly, you know, the specs on the actual lift itself, we can actually say, okay, you know what, for a square, we can just reinforce where exactly these need to be. So ergo, he wanted 3 lifts, we went ahead and gave him those squares, which does save him on cost.
Again, these are 6 concrete squares that we did created. Their dimensions are 2 by 3 by 3 foot in depth.
So you got 2 wide, you got 2 long, and then 3 deep. So like I said, that's just reinforced so that the weight bearing can be there.
Yeah, and let's talk a little bit more on the concrete. It is a 4-inch concrete foundation, correct?
Correct. So 4-inch, it was more than enough for the use of the building, because like I said, the biggest weight is going to be on those lifts themselves. Other than that, the helpful part of our concrete is those cross internal beams, right? That's what definitely helps, you know, prolong that center section of the slab. If you just have that perimeter footing with no internals, then definitely highly advised to get that thicker slab, right? But when you have that reinforcement, then you don't necessarily need that thick of a slab.
Yeah, what are those size of those perimeter footings?
So the perimeter footings, they vary depending on the size of the building, right?
Okay.
But well, this particular building being the white span, the perimeter footing is about 18 inches wide. But of course, we had to bring in dirt, right? When you bring in more dirt, you have to really compensate the depth of the footing. That way we get that concrete into undisturbed ground. So what we did were 18 wide by 24 inch deep footings.
And then we also added cross internal beams, right?
Correct. So like I said, again, that's what reinforces that center. And those internals are typically the same dimensions and sizes of those perimeters.
Awesome. Hope you guys at home can visualize and see what all the planning goes behind the scenes, right?
Yes.
It's just not, hey, can you pour some concrete? No, we have to conclude these site visits. We have to see it firsthand and see if it's something that's feasible that we can create, right?
Yeah, construction is always done in the office as much as possible, so it's easily executed on site, right? One of the biggest models we have here is we measure twice to make sure that we only cut once. This thing's gonna get done right and right the first time.
Let's give our viewers the total cost for the concrete foundation on this 40 by 80 4-inch slab. We have in perimeter footings, we have cross internal beams, vapor barriers, our notch detail. What price are we looking at?
So for this particular dimension, you'd be looking at $41,440.
You have the pack, it's $41,440 with 0 cents, and our total project cost comes out to $117,033.50. That includes everything that we just mentioned, right, Ernesto? This project was sold by Ernesto and the Apex Wolves, but now he is transitioning into sales director, and hopefully on screen you're seeing why he is stepping into that role. He is giving you guys, providing you guys with lots of valuable information, what goes behind the sales scene. In this case, our client was living in Hawaii. At that period of time, I was still with the building department. I would come in from Houston or from Austin here at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, and I would see him there. I would see you there. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm talking to Hawaii. You know, that's the kind of determination Ernesto has been showing throughout this whole year. Again, today is his first year here at WolfSteel Buildings, right?
Yeah. So the 1 year, the Wolf-iversary, we call it.
Wolf. I don't know how to pronounce it. Wolf. How do you say it?
Wolf-iversary.
Whatever. This is first year at WolfSteel Buildings. Again, English is my second language, so bear with me, guys. But yeah, Ernesto, congrats, man. Congrats on everything. You deserve it, pal. Again, Pac, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video on this pricing tubular building. Again, we only serve Texas. We only serve the state of Texas. Again, Pac, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one. You can actually see the truss where it can't land because we just eliminated that upright. And right behind me, we have another amazing project out here in Hill Country.